Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be making some tiramisu cake. I'm going to start by separating my eggs. So I need my egg yolks separate from my egg whites. So we're just going to crack one egg and try and separate it. As you can see, I'm going to put the egg yolk in one bowl and the egg whites in another bowl. We're going to be using this later, so just try and do what I'm doing here, separating the egg. You need to do it practically for you to be able to do it. Yeah, so that's my first egg. For this recipe we need 4 egg whites, so I'm going to be separating the rest of the eggs until I get we need 4 egg yolks, so I'm going to be separating the rest of the eggs for me to get my egg yolks. So this is my second egg yolk I'm working on. So what you're doing here is removing the egg yolks from the egg whites from the egg yolk. Just try it, or if this is a harder way for you, you can just break the egg and place it on your hands and hold the egg yolk and let the egg whites fall down to your bowl, and then the egg yolk in your hand, you're going to transfer it to another bowl. That's another way you can do this. So we're going to do this until we get our 4 egg yolks. This is my 4th egg, so I'm just going to separate it. As you can see, I'm doing it the way I am doing it. So now we have our 4 egg yolks. We're just going to set this aside. We're going to use them later. So we're going to finish for the rest of the eggs. We're going to separate them. We need 6 egg whites, so I'll just separate the rest of the eggs. The rest of the eggs, and I will place the extra yolks in another bowl. Just put them in a fridge, guys, or you can cook them. We will use them for another recipe. Don't throw this away, just store them in your fridge, or if not, cook them and you can enjoy them with some rice or something else. So next I have all of my ingredients here. You need to assemble all of the ingredients, weigh everything and get them ready. So I have my egg whites here, I have my dry ingredients, my flour and baking powder, and I have my egg yolks here, the ones I separated earlier, together with some vanilla essence inside. Next I have my sugar. I have already weighed it in here, and next I have my melted butter. You need to weigh and melt your butter. And then next I have my milk. We're going to be adding our milk also for this recipe, so you just need to weigh all of the ingredients before you can start mixing them and get them ready. Now we are going to work on our egg whites. I have my hand whisk here. If you have a hand whisk is better for you, but if you don't have, you can an electric whisk. So if you don't have, you can just use a normal whisk. But guys, be prepared, because this is going to be a real exercise for your hands, because you really need to whip your eggs until they become like clouds. This is what you call meringue. So we are going to form some meringue. So meringue is simply egg whites beaten together with sugar until it forms something like a cloud. Like when you see it, it looks like a cloud. So that's the best way I can explain it. So in my bowl with the egg whites, I'm going to start beating the egg yolks. As you can see, when I start to see bubbles, I am going to slowly and gradually add in my sugar. As you can see, the way I'm adding, slowly add in your sugar as you are beating your egg whites. We are looking for that cloudy effect. We want to see something like clouds coming from our egg whites. That's what we call meringue. So I'm adding in the last bit of my sugar, as I keep on whisking. Just keep on whisking, guys, until it becomes firm and looks white as a cloud, and it's like a cloud in short. I cannot insist this enough. That is the best meringue that we're going to use for our cake. This one makes our cake spongy and very soft, so we need to achieve this. So after whisking my egg whites and sugar for a few more minutes, now it has formed the white cloudy effect that I was looking for, and it's more firm. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of whisking. I will whisk it a bit more. So when I turn this ball, it's supposed to not fall down. That's when you're going to tell that your meringue is ready. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of whisk. I'll whisk it more. Now we are ready. You see, when I do this, there is peaks, and when I turn my ball upside down, it's not falling down, it's stiff, it's holding there. That's when you know that your meringue is ready. That is how you test if your meringue is ready. You see, I'm turning my ball upside down, but it's still stiff, and those are the stiff peaks that you're looking for. So that's another way you check for your meringue, stiff peaks. So next we are going to mix in the rest of our ingredients. I have my wet ingredients here, my egg yolks and vanilla essence. So I'm just going to give them a good whisk. You can use your whisk here at this stage, guys. I will use my spoon. Just whisk them well. And then next I'm going to add in my melted butter. So you need to weigh your ingredients accurately. The full recipe is down below at the description box. Just check it out, guys, and give this a try. It's a really yummy cake. So I'm going to add in my milk. I'm just weighing in my milk. Now I'm going to mix the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. So in my bowl I have my flour and baking powder. I already sifted them. You need to sift them, guys, and sieve them. So I'm just going to give them a final mix to ensure that everything is well incorporated before I mix in my dry ingredients. Before I mix in my wet ingredients. So now I'm adding in the wet ingredients. Now we are going to mix it well. Just ensure that everything is well mixed together, the flour with the wet ingredients. So I'm just going to keep on whisking this with my spatula, mixing this with my spatula. Use anything you have in your kitchen, guys. Don't stress yourself. So we need also to be careful not to overmix at this point. Now I'm going to add in my egg whites, the ones that we had beaten earlier. Just add in a little bit of it, mix it well, and then now we're going to add the rest of the egg whites. So now we're going to add in the rest of the egg whites. You fold it in, you wrap and fold in. You fold in like the way I'm doing it, fold the egg whites in. So we just need to ensure that the egg whites are well mixed with our flour mixture. So you add in your egg whites and start folding in. And also be careful not to over whisk here, because our egg whites are filled with air inside. That's why they have also increased in size, because they are filled in air inside. So we need to be very careful, guys, not to overmix at this point, because if you overmix, you're going to deflate your air which is inside the egg whites, and your cake is not going to be spongy and it's not going to be soft. So, and also it's not going to raise when you bake your cake. So be very careful not to overmix at this point. Just fold it in, and when you see that all the ingredients are mixed together, leave it there. Do not overmix this. And here I would advise that you use your spatula or anything that you have. Don't use the hand whisk at this point. Just use your spatula to avoid over whisking, because it's easier for you to check it when you're doing it with your hands. Yeah, so for mine it's ready. So finally we are going to be baking our sponge cake. So to your baking tray you're going to place your baking paper. If you don't have, you can use foil, but I would highly recommend you use baking paper. Also, if you don't have baking paper, you can just grease your pan with some butter or oil, and then sprinkle a little bit of flour on top, and then you can now add in your butter, your cake batter. Also, when you're mixing all of your cake ingredients, remember to preheat your oven at 160 degrees Celsius. We're going to be baking this sponge cake for 10 to 12 minutes. So after 10 minutes, you're going to take your toothpick, you're going to insert it into your cake, and if it comes out dry, then your cake is ready. You need to remove it. Sorry guys for the blurry video, so that's how you do it. Now we are going to be making some frosting for our tiramisu cake. So I have my whipping cream here, and I have my icing sugar here. So I'm going to weigh in my whipping cream. I'm going to weigh in about 400 grams. Recipe is in the description box. 400 grams of this whipping cream. Now I'm going to first of all start by whisking it with my hand whisk. You can use your normal whisk if you don't have this electric whisk. Just use the normal whisk. Now I'm going to start, and guys, your whipping cream needs to be chilled before you start doing this. It works best when it is chilled. So now I'm going to start whisking until when I see that it's starting to become thick. I'll start adding in my icing sugar. So I'm going to add in 5 tablespoons of icing sugar. I can see that my cream is starting to become thick, so I'll just start adding in the 5 tablespoons of icing sugar. If you want it more sweeter, feel free to add more icing sugar. For mine, I like it as it is for the 5 tablespoons. So we will continue to whisk it until our cream thickens. So after a few minutes of whisking my whipping cream, it has thickened, and this is the consistency that we want. We want it thick so that we are going to frost it with our tiramisu cake. So I like it like this thick. So we're going to switch this off, and I will give it a bit of a taste. You can also taste yours, guys, if you want it more sweeter. You add your icing sugar, whisk it a bit, and then leave it as it is. So for mine, I will leave it there. It's tasting okay, it's fine for me. So after removing our cake from the oven, this is how it's looking like. So I'm just going to remove this baking paper. So I'm going to be cutting my cake into 4, and then we have our whipped cream that we whipped earlier. So I'm going to be cutting this into 4, 1 equal half. I'll be making this in layers. We want this to form our layers, and then the other half. Okay, so So we have. So we're just going to be cutting off a little bit of the size just to get a good shape for working it with. Here we just cut here. So we are going to be making our coffee bath. We will make our coffee bath. Half a cup of water, warm water, half cup. And then 1 tablespoon of our coffee. I'll be using Nescafe. You can use any type of coffee in your kitchen, guys. My tablespoon here, so 1 tablespoon of coffee. Just swirl it around so that it can be mixed with the water. Then give it a few minutes for the water to cool down, and then we're going to start dipping in our cake, and then followed by our cream. So after leaving our coffee bath, our water bath to rest for a while, it has cooled down. Now we are going to be dipping in our sponge cakes into the water bath just to soak it in and make it even more soft. So we are going to just a little bit of soaking it in. Wash your hands, guys, sanitize. I have washed my hands, and so we are going to be dipping our sponge cake into our coffee bath. I will place it on top here, and now we are going to be adding on top of it, we're going to be adding our frosting. So I'm going to be using my spatula. I'm going to spread it. If you have a palette knife, you can use it, guys. If you have a palette knife in your kitchen, use it. I'll be using my spatula here. I'm just going to spread it and make it leveled and even on all corners. And so we are going to be repeating this procedure on all our cake layers. Water bath, then frosting, then dipping our sponge cake, leveling it out until we finish all of our sponge cakes and all of our layers. So I'm just going to use my kitchen knife to level out my frosting so I can get a good surface. Level it out. Just use anything that you have in your kitchen if you don't have what I'm using or what I am mentioning. Okay, next we're going to add in our next layer. Just dip it in the coffee bath. This is what makes our tiramisu. Coffee bath is a must, and also our ending we're going to use some cocoa powder. So we're going to see those at the end. So I'll just make it even, place my frosting, level it out, and do the same procedure all the way until I finish all of my layers. As you can see, guys, I have finished all of my layers. Now I'm just doing the finishing. For the rest of my frosting, I will add it on top, and I'm going to level it out on all sides and ensure that it has coated everywhere well. we are going to be sprinkling some unsweetened cocoa powder on our tiramisu cake. I'll be using this unsweetened cocoa powder. Just use any cocoa powder you have, as long as it's unsweetened. So I'll be using this. I'll just scoop my cocoa powder, and then on top I do this. Okay, so after dusting our top of the cake with cocoa powder, we are going to be trimming it off on the sides just to give it a good shape. So with my knife here, I'm just going to be trimming it on the side. Just give it a good trim, guys, carefully. And then the other side as well, just trim it.